It is time to talk tech and also do an update on crypto. I am Dr. Stock, Doctor of Education, and do you suppose that mice floss their teeth with string cheese? We're going to talk about Meta, Tesla, Nvidia, and then also Bitcoin with some updates on some other altcoins that are out there. And if you guys want to see how I'm playing this market, I'll tell you later about the Patreon, about the options course, and about how you can learn about technical analysis to up your trading game. In the meantime, I do want to get right into the charts, so I'm going to bring those up for you. So we're going to kick things off in this with Meta. Like I said, first, there we are. So Meta, the interesting thing about Meta, let me collapse that so that we have a little bit more room here, and we're going to go out to the daily chart. There we go. So you can see how Meta has been operating these past few weeks as you look at their chart. And what we see is that they're actually trading in a bullish channel. So coming off at the top of this channel could set up for a short play. Not as good as coming off the bottom of this, because then that would have that bullish bias moving up. But just take a look at the few things that we have here. So coming off the top of the channel, and this is one that I've actually been looking at for a few days. We had a bit of a rising wedge. You can see we're falling out of that. And in the pre-market, we're rocking at about $351 per share, which we closed on Friday at $353.96. So we're down just a little bit yet on that. Now, where do we find support for this thing? Well, we're actually looking for support right at about, let me look at the different measures that I have here, 328 and 331. Those are the two 50-period moving averages, which just happen to be right about where we have this trend line right across here. We also have from the Bollinger Bands, the faster moving mean that we have here is coming in at about 338, 339 when we look at this thing. And like I said, we can see the bottom of this bullish channel that we have sometime soon. And if you're wanting to take more long positions, or if you'd rather play with the bias that would go with the trend, which would be typically a safer bet. Now, mind you, none of this is financial advice. These are all ideas and opinions. You got to do your own research and due diligence for this stuff. But you could watch for this to come down to the bottom trend line, which is something I'm currently watching for, along with the moving averages. The green, yellow, and red that you see on here are the exponential moving averages. Part of the bread recipe, if you've been following me or Stockmo, we've been talking a lot about this. It's part of the technical analysis course that I showed you earlier. I'll tell you more about that soon, but we also toss in the RSI with this, and you can see the RSI is coming down off the overbought territory, and we'll see if it keeps dropping down and crosses through that 50. That could set up one of those buy signals that we're looking for, along with other confirmatory factors that are out there. So for Meta, that's what I have for you there. Tesla, big news about Tesla is today is delivery day. And by the time you watch this, maybe those deliveries are already out. But I did want to point that out for you on this chart. As we look at this thing, it is coming to a critical moment where we have this long-term downtrend going all the way back to November of 2021 from those peaks. And we've been playing it ever since. If I zoom out more, you can see just how long that's been going on. And zooming in more to more recent price action, you can see we broke this trend line right here. We didn't quite break above it. This has been the trend line that we've been resisting on so far, and we can actually start to extend that out a little bit more. And so we can see if we keep on peaking out there, if we continue the upside. Now this more recent trend line that we have right here, we'll see with deliveries if we fall down through that and have to rely on the moving averages down here. The 50 EMA for this, by the way, is at 242. And then we have the SMA for this, the 50 SMA at 233, and then the 200 is racking right around 230, and then we have this Fibonacci retracement level here at about 223. So we want to watch for that. We do have a bit of resistance, but I can tell you that for the Tesla deliveries, that should we miss the 1.8 million vehicles delivered, that does not set things up well for Tesla, and this thing could drop like a rock. If we meet or exceed the 1.8 million, especially if we exceed the 1.8 million, that could be upward pressure for the stock. Now, mind you, we have the overall market bias to pay attention to as well, and the indices are red this morning, and there's a lot of jobs data. If you didn't watch my video from yesterday, I highly advise that you go back and you watch that one to see about the market catalyst for the week. My 6-month-old daughter's trying to make it into the video. You could hear her possibly screaming in the background. She can be pretty noisy sometimes. So moving on from Tesla, which this chart we can see right here. So we'll see, should we pop back up above the trend line, or should we blow down through this one? We'll happen to see. The delivery is going to be the big thing there. And then overall indices, like I said, is all about those jobs. So moving over to Nvidia. For Nvidia, you can see the cup and handle play that is currently sort of kind of playing out, but I did say that the market bias is going to be a mitigating factor for this. So should the market sell off, Nvidia is going to have a tough time with this upward movement that we have. What we're looking at for momentum, the momentum has been pretty good. We actually had decent volume for that sell that we had, although a long tail on the bottom of this thing. We have a lot of upward pressure still going for Nvidia, that the bullish technicals that we have, the bulls are trying to win out this thing, but man, oh man, they're having their share of struggle with this. And you can see what we got over here in the pre-market. Let's zoom in more so you can see a little bit more of what's happening. This is what a lot of stocks look like this morning, and big tech is just part of that. So this morning in the pre-market hours, trading around 490, and this is the 200-hour moving average that we have here. We'll see if that continues to serve as support for us, or if we break out of this formation. We're going to have to watch for that to take place. And if we fall out of the cup and handle formation that we have right here, then we have support down at 480, and down below that is support all the way down at 455. So we're going to have to be watching. If you guys want to see how I'm playing this market, you can do so by using the link down in the description for the Patreon. You can see my buys and sells that I do daily over at the Discord that is also available through the Patreon. Again, link down in the description. My options course is part of the collection. So if you click on the collections tab in Patreon, you'll find the options course, which I'm still building out. And go ahead and sign up for that as well. And then moving on is the StockMo technical analysis course. So taking a look at this and finding out more about the bread recipe. There's even a Discord that goes along with it where you can talk about the technical analyses that you've been doing. You can ask questions that you have. You can get your questions answered by me, by Mo, by the community. It's a really awesome place so far. It's full of really positive people that are all, some of which are experiencing a lot of success and perfectly willing to share that success and how they did it with others. So go ahead and check that out. It is a great time. And I did want to mention, since I have my web browser open here, Tesla Investor Relations, if you want to see where those deliveries come out when it gets released, you want to be watching this page. So let me bring this back down, put the charts up, and then we'll just wrap things up by talking about crypto. So Bitcoin, I've been talking about this symmetric triangle that we've had for a while now, and sometimes it's a continuation pattern for us. I said it all depended what trend line we broke out of. We solidly broke out of the top trend line, and we blew away 44.3 as resistance. And then we found some resistance right at about just shy of $46,000 per BTC. So that's one that we want to keep an eye on. It is possible that we do continue to run until we get that ETF decision. Should we get that ETF decision, which should happen by January the 10th, then we'll find out if this thing is going to continue running, because I think if it gets approved, then this thing's going to go mad for at least a few days. And so we want to be watching for that. If it does not get approved, I think this thing's going to fall flat pretty quickly. So it even could fall flat pretty quickly leading up to that if we've experienced that sell the news moment. So we want to keep an eye on that daily. I do have a long position in Mara that I took out on Friday. I went long on it. I went short on it. Profited in both of those directions. Now I'm long on it again, and it should open pretty well for me today. We're going to keep watching that. Ethereum, you can see it popped out. It's finding some resistance right at about just over $2,400, and we see these long wicks coming off of it. If Bitcoin gets approved, Ethereum is probably going to go nuts along with it. And then AVAX, we want to see this line right here, 43.20, being broken, and we want to see it be solidly broken, because otherwise we could set up for a head and shoulders pattern with a neckline being at about $39 per AVAX. And should that happen, then we can fall down to at least 34.50-ish, we'll say, and then even through these moving averages that we have here. So we do just want to be on the lookout for AVAX as we continue to settle. Just take a look at the RSI. We've actually resisted dropping down through 50 and have actually bounced off that pretty well. So we'll see if we get another run coming out of that to the upside of this thing. We're still looking for that 52 to pop out of there. That's only going to happen should we solidly break up through here. And I think if we get the run with Bitcoin, it's really going to help us. Last one is Solana. So I want to put this up here for you. And then for Solana, you can see this little bit of a pennant shape that we have going on. We'll see if we get double topped on this thing, or if we break through and we're able to visit that 137, 138 line that I have up here. We did get resistance before right around 126. So we're going to have to watch for that. And I think that Bitcoin is going to be that telling thing for continued strength in the crypto market, and it's going to lead the way downward should we sell off during that time. So just to wrap things up, with Meta, top of the bullish channel, it's possible that we sell off and ride the wave down. And then Tesla, we'll see what deliveries have to tell us. For this one, we could either solidly break back up above the long-term downtrend, should we get excellent delivery reports. Should we sell off instead because the reports missed, that could be a very painful time for Tesla. Either way, we want to be prepared based on whatever those deliveries say. And then NVIDIA, the markets are going to either make or break that cup and handle pattern. I've been saying it for weeks. I'm going to keep on saying it, keep on watching what's happening there. We don't want it to go from cup and handle and turn into a double top, which would be more of a bearish thing. Although I will say that the silver lining to that, even if the technicals for the cup and handle don't work out, I think that Tesla is a champion company and a long-term hold, at least in my opinion. So, and then last thing for crypto, Watch for that spot ETF decision. We could sell off before then. We could sell the news before the news ever happens. That's a very common thing to occur. The news could also happen and then a sell could happen, or the news could happen and it's something strongly positive like an approval for the spot ETF. And if that is the case, then we could see crypto go nuts for a while. And that's exactly why I'm tracking it right now and watching it to see how exactly it plays out from here. Thank you guys for watching. I really do appreciate it. Sign up before the Patreon and see my buys and sells and join the community by using the link down in the description, and also that stock mode technical analysis course. That link is also down in the description. I have some videos that I'm developing for that course, so go ahead and check that out. Take advantage of it. And then last thing, guys, as always, I am Dr. Stock, Doctor of Education. Remember, my friends, that learning is earning, and we'll see you in the next video.